This year, I'm coming back to Japan for the second time. I will be visiting Kyushu, the southwesternmost part of Japan. I want to explore the culture and the story behind each location more, and I will be checking out locations recommended by a Japanese friend. This Kyushu series will be split into 3 parts. In this part 3 video, we will be exploring Kagoshima. Welcome aboard to Curious Nomster. My name is Elaine, and I'll be your tour guide today. With Kyushu being home to 4 of the most active volcanoes in Japan, we can't risk not seeing another volcanic eruption in action. Sakura literally means cherry blossom island. It is an active stratovolcano in Kagoshima Prefecture in Kyushu, Japan. The 1914 eruption connected it with the Osumi Peninsula. Fun fact, it is the most active volcano in Japan. If you have about 3 to 5 hours to spare, you could check out their visitor center to learn more about this volcanic town. You can relax at the food baths, take a short hike, enjoy the views at the observatories, and check out the buried shrine gate. You can explore Sakura by driving, which can be taken across the water from Kagoshima by the ferries. Today's weather is pretty crappy. It was quite gloomy and a bit wet at the same time, and it was quite hazy as well. If you go on a day with great weather, I think it is worth it. But today for us, it was so-so because of the haze and everything. But the history of Sakurajima itself is very interesting. They actually have a museum there to explain how everything works as well in the history of Sakurajima. I would recommend you to go there on a day with good weather. We actually drove there as well. I also recommend you to drive there. On a side note, it seems like you could actually get a better view of the Sakurajima from Kagoshima itself. If you run out of time to visit Sakurajima, you could do the same thing from Kagoshima as well. Highlights: the museum. Go to the viewpoint I recommended in my video. Hot sand bath is something you can't miss when you're in Kagoshima. Locals come here specifically to bathe not in water, but in hot sand. On our way to the hot sand bath though, we stumbled upon this little gem when we needed a pick-me-up after a 1.5 hour drive from Kagoshima. Cafe Mameya Juraku is a homey and retro Japanese cafe that sells filtered coffee of many selections of beans. They use Ibusuki hot spring water to wash their coffee beans, then rinse it with water before roasting them. Apparently, that brings a refreshing taste to their coffee. This cafe is only 10 minutes away from the hot sand bath place we're going to next. I'm absolutely in love with the interior, the chill vibe, the friendliness of the staff, and their amazing coffee. I felt like I had a moment to pause when I was hanging out at this cafe with Steve. Yay, at last! Relaxation time! For 300 years, hot sand baths have been loved by people who visit the hot springs. The warm, dark sands of Ibusuki are composed of an intense infusion of minerals from volcanic hot springs. Apparently, sand baths are 3 to 4 times more effective than ordinary hot springs. Ibusuki Hakusuikan is a traditional and prestigious ryokan with apparently over 200 years of history. You can enjoy the steamed sand bath, then soak in Ibusuki's mineral hot spring. There is also an art museum on property. Sazuma Denshokan features local historical works of art as well as the historical artifacts from the regions. We have just come out of the Ibusuki Habusuikan. Can you see my skin glowing? Like everything just looks better. Well, I'm not self-absorbed, but literally we went through a hot sand bath as well as the onsen. I can't believe it. It only costs around 45 Aussie per person. If you want to have the exact same experience in Australia, I would say that could easily cost us 70 to 100 bucks. And the ambience in that onsen place is, I'm speechless. It's like traditional Japanese ryokan sort of accommodation. The service level is great. They have staff that can speak speak English. Absolutely, the hot sand bath was bloody freaking hard. They recommend you to stay in there for 10 minutes, but man, I started counting down after the 5th minute. Overall, a very interesting and unique experience. Highlights: service, extremely gorgeous ambience, really traditional Japanese vibe and interior, and amazing relaxing hot sand bath and onsen. I rate this experience, this is a little bit unusual, but 5 out of 5. If you're a meat lover, you've come to the right side of town. One of Kagoshima's delicacies is Kagoshima Berkshire Kurobuta. Kurobuta means black pork. This special hog descends from 2 British Berkshire pigs brought to Japan in the 1930s and is considered premium product in Japan. Ju-on is a quaint premium shabu-shabu eatery where you can enjoy veggies and thin strips of pork cooked at the table. They offer Roppaku Kurobuta pork, which has well-balanced firmness, tenderness, and sweetness. I know so far I'm telling you I like most of the food I've tried, but this is, hands down, the most premium Japanese food experience I've ever had in my life. I just felt so pampered. They prepared every little dish separately in matching plates and bowls, and then it comes with a lot of small little side dishes as well. I feel like they've put a lot of thoughts and care into the preparation of the meal as well. They also have a lot of instructions and explanations as to how different process of the shabu shabu is done as well, and I really appreciate that. And the food itself, you can feel and taste that it has really high quality as well. We actually did not even need to book as well, or perhaps it was because it is a weekday. We literally just walk in and we got a table, but I call myself lucky. Highlights, most definitely the quality of the food, top-notch level of service. Highly recommend you to come here for a great Japanese pampering session in a restaurant. There is no better way to wrap up a trip than climbing a castle. On day 9, we visited Shiroyama. Shiroyama is a 107-meter hill located in the center of Kagoshima City. Its name comes from the fact that it was once the site of a castle. So I technically did climb a castle, right? The observatory is an awesome photo spot overlooking Mount Sakurajima and Kinko Bay. The nighttime view is also quite spectacular. Just sitting on the edge of a very steep slope, so if I fall off, this will be my last word. We've just walked up to the Shiroyama Observatory. Quite nice, given today's weather is supposed to be rainy and gloomy, and it's actually damn windy right now. I actually expected the visibility to be very low. So people usually come up here to see one thing, which is the Sakurajima volcano, which we were able to see today. In fact, I think we get a better view of the Sakurajima volcano up here instead of being on Sakurajima. I think it's still worthwhile to go to Sakurajima on a day with good weather. So don't do what we did. Go to Sakurajima on a very rainy, gloomy day, because you are guaranteed to be disappointed. Before you head back to the nearest international airport, don't forget to grab this Kagoshima delicacy, Zuku Age. Zuku Age are Japanese-style fried fish cakes in Kagoshima. It is made by fish paste, tofu, and Kagoshima's local sake. It is also a famous fast food in Japan. Standard fillings are cheese or sweet potato, but we also found some special Zuku Ages from a shop called Kujiki, selling fish cakes with fillings like spring onions, red ginger, lotus roots, and corn. So what's my thought of the Kagoshima fried fish cake? Look, it is a little bit greasy overall, but I highly recommend you to try it because they have so many different flavors and they are all very yummy. I think out of all the fish cakes, my fave is the lotus roots one because of the texture. Go for it. There are a couple of things that we find quite unique to Kagoshima. The first one is we think that Kagoshima is even more chilled compared to Kumamoto and Fukuoka. I think it makes sense because there are actually even fewer people here. Quite interesting that Kagoshima is also connected to a volcanic island, which is Kumamoto. Another thing that we find quite unique is most definitely the hot sand bath. It was pretty hot. It was quite a unique experience. I can't recall seeing this kind of stuff in any hot spring at all. This is the last part of my Kyushu series. Tell me in the comment section below which part of Kyushu do you like the most. Did I inspire you to come to Kyushu? If you haven't checked out part 1 and 2 of my Kyushu series yet, click here to find out more. Click, click, click. For now, sayonara!